Kevin W. Reese.
What up, this Kev?
Yeah, man.
What's up, partner?
What's going on, man? Now I hear there's rumors, there's whispers in the streets that you may have a new major label home somewhere in the near future. Any light you can shed on that?
That's a good rumor. I hope so. Actually, there's no light I can shed on that. I mean, I did recently do a showcase in New York. I can't say which label, but I can say I did a showcase. But there is some interest out there.
Okay, well, that's a beautiful thing. That's a good situation to be in, man.
Especially with all this hoopla in Philly right now with wifey material blowing up on the airways. And
a lot of people don't know this, but you were a songwriter.
yes.
How much does it hurt when you write a song and you know it's a smash, you know it's a great song, and you have to give it to someone else?
You know, I don't even look at it like...
It's like adoption or something.
It is. It is definitely like adoption. I mean, these are all my babies. All these are my creations. So I look at them like I take a lot of pride in my records. So it's just when you go in there, it's like going to work. It's like going to your job. It's like, you know, you going in there, you're tailor making the suit. You know, you might say, yo, that's a dope suit, but you know that you made it for somebody else. And at the end of the day, you know, you look forward to that. You know, you hope that they delivered it as great as you know, created it. So
what happens when you hear that song on the radio? You're like, that's my baby right there.
yeah, you're prideful because you're hearing it all around you, and you just like, you know, I mean, that's the same way I felt when I co-wrote Forever for Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the time, I was still working a part-time job, so it was just like, you know, that was when I had my big break as a songwriter, my big claim to fame.
Let's not be shy now. What was the part-time job?
Oh, man, I loved it. I worked at Circuit City.
Okay, all right.
I did electronics, car stereos, entertainment. I love electronics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at that. Now, Rob A., there's a slew of songwriters that have come out and have had success as solo artists, such as Neo is the big one, right? Miguel, and now the new kid, Frank Ocean, is doing it. Do you think that it's an advantage to come out there in the industry as a songwriter and then transform into the solo artist that you want to?
You know what? I want to say it's an advantage. I just want to say that it's a great asset as far as, you know, I want to say on a monetary standpoint. Being able to write is great because at the end of the day, the music business has changed so much as far as, I want to say, the streams of revenue, how you actually survive. At the end of the day, this is a music business. So, you know, you are creating for your fans, you're creating for the love of it, but you still have to look at, okay, the revenue streams are a lot different than they used to be back in the day. So if you are a writer or a producer, co-producer, it really helps you a lot. It's definitely an asset because you know that you're getting, you know, you have stake in your work. But the beautiful thing about it is there's no real order which you should break through. I mean, there's artists who break out as artists, and then you find out that they can actually write, and they start co-writing with other people. And a great example of that is Chris. Chris wasn't necessarily a writer first, but, you know, by his sophomore album, he was co-writing with people like me, Andre Merritt, and he just, you know, he started really having a lot of fun with co-writing, and thus came the Graffiti Artist crew. So,
right.
You know, that was like him wearing a different hat. Like, you know, I'm an artist, but I really want to try this writing thing out. Which he writes a lot of his songs. He's involved with a lot of the writing on all his songs anyway. So, you know, trying to actually directly write for other people was like real fun for him.
Right. Now, are you still working with Chris or no?
Right now, while the rebellion is in motion, I'm actually not. You know, that's still my little bro. You know, he know what time it is. We get in the studio, it's nothing. It's like we just get on the beat and just do what we do. But and this time just him. It's I'm very focused on my artist career, and that's one of the conflicts that a lot of artists have, or at least I want to say songwriter artists have, is that, like I said, this is a business, and you want to still adhere to your schedule with doing sessions for different artists and other writers, co-writing, you know, building relationships. Everything's about relationships.
Right.
Make sure that you get in the studio with people who you look up to, you learn, you know, you get more polished by being, you know, exercising your craft. So at the same time, I was doing a lot of that. I spent, you know, when I got my co-publishing deal with Sony ATV about 2.5 years back, 2 or 3 years back, you know, that first year, I just, you know, I was in a lot of sessions. You know, I'm in the studio with Enrique Iglesias, working with Stargate, working with Red One.
Right.
So that first year was just a whole lot of just building a rapport with a lot of the producers in the game. You know, initially I was never trying to be a writer. I always was the artist, but it was like along my journey, a funny thing happened when I up and packed up from Jersey and moved to L.A. in 2007, and then that's where a lot of my success started to happen with songwriting.
Now that's a risky move right there. You just up and left.
Man, I just up and left. With my mentor in management, Paula Webster Grant from Philly-based records. She's definitely was inspiration and a great mentor, because she just told me, like, if you feel you need to go out there and do what you got to do, go. I'm advising you that you need to go and do that, because if you don't go, you're going to have a lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda, and I'm encouraging you that you should do this because you got the talent, and when you have the talent, you shouldn't stop yourself from pursuing your dreams. So
the movement is the Robellion, right?
The Robellion, that's right.
Explain the movement to the folks out there.
The movement is about me rebelling. It's about us rebelling together. This music business has an interesting way of making you feel like you got to conform to a particular strategy, and I'm not with that. I've always been a natural born rebel as a kid.
Right.
Who deviated. I was always the outspoken one in class. At one point I actually wanted to be an attorney. So, I'm very argumentative in that sense. I stand up for what I believe in. But at the same time, given my track record, my two records that were claimed to fame was, dance pop records, the Floor, that whole wave of Four on the Floor records. And yeah, I mean, those are great songs, and they made me a lot of money. But it was like that doesn't show everything that I can do. So It's almost like every session I was going to, like, oh, could you make me another Forever, or could you make me another Disturbia? I'm like, no, I'm not going to make you that, because those songs were those moments.
Is that why you spell your name the way you do?
Well, the exclamation mark is just to emphasize the A, so it's like real important, like that people know. Because I remember doing a talent show a few years back, and they call it they said Roba or Raba is coming to the stage.
Okay, all right.
So I was like, no, it's Rob A. So ever since then, I was like, let me put an exclamation point so people know it's Rob A.
Okay.
You don't mistake it.
Fair enough. Rob, I appreciate the time, and I wish you much success. I like how you're standing out by being yourself, and keep it up, and we'll talk in a few months and see where you at, man.
That's right.
All right, Rob.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Peace.
Kevin W. Reese.